the newest Duran Duran album, All You Need Is Now, just came out.
Oh my god.
And I was a big Duran Duran fan. They were, I guess they were gone for a while. I guess they were kind of around, but this was like their comeback album. So, and it was amazing, absolutely amazing. We can get into that later, actually. But so I just went to see them in concert, or I was going to see them, one or the other. I think I just saw them with my brother. And I was telling you, and I knew you were a big music person just from our casual talks, and then obviously I knew you worked in the record industry by that point. So I was like, well, if I'm going to talk to this girl, probably music's the way in, because I didn't really know what else you were into too much at that point. And we talked about that, and you were like, oh, I have to listen to that. I haven't heard it. I do like Duran Duran as well a little bit. That sounds like a cool concert.
This is before Spotify, too. So
this is way before Spotify, yeah.
Listen to it on Spotify.
This is where I had to burn you a CD and give it to you, but I didn't do that until later. I did eventually burn you a CD of it, though. I did.
This was only 5 years ago, too. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it is crazy, yeah. But that's 5 years is a long time, too.
Yeah.
So from that point, we talked that night. And remember, we were driving home. We were driving back to your apartment, which actually is like a 2-minute walk from this bar. But for whatever reason, because we came from work, that's why. So I had my car. So a couple of us had our car. And it was a little cold that night because it was December. So we decided to drive home. So okay, I don't know where your apartment is, Dan. Because this was also going to be my first night at Dan's apartment.
Oh, right.
I didn't know where it was. So I was like, I'll follow you guys. So we're going. We only had a couple cars, so everyone had to jump in. And out of nowhere here, I'm going to Kevin's car. And there's Melissa. And I said, oh, man. And I, just to let everybody know, I'm really, really, really bad at picking up signs from women.
Yes.
I've probably, since high school through college, I've probably missed out on a lot of dates and girls that possibly probably liked me because I am the worst person at reading it. And I just assumed nobody had any interest in me. So I was like, even me was like, oh my God, this girl seems to be very interested. So then we hung out that night or whatever, and then things happened. And then we just started kind of casually hanging out as friends. We went on our first date eventually, which I guess was not really till a lot later actually than this.
Yeah.
I think we just kept hanging out like me, you, and Dan, and Eleno Power, and Fat Guy at the time was still around, and Cowboy Matt. Yeah.
We'll have him on for some rants. That will be fun.
Italian Stallion Nico.
Oh my goodness.
So, we were just hanging out as groups, and then eventually, and I know the time period just because I know when Disney movies kind of come out, or I should say superhero movies, I should say.
Yeah.
But our first date was going to be May, I guess, of 2012, which was the Avengers movie.
Oh my gosh, really? It was May?
Yeah, the Avengers always come out in May.
Wow.
That's their time period, so that's the only reason I know. Otherwise, I would have had no clue what month our first date was. That was our first real date in May.
Wow.
We went to Charlie Brown's, which is terrible. We don't go there too much anymore because don't know why we even went there. But
I forget why. I mean, I didn't really know any restaurants which is funny, even though I lived in the area.
Right.
I didn't really know any restaurants. All the restaurants I knew were in New York, so Jersey was kind of rough. I didn't know anything. So I was like, oh yeah, let's just go to Charlie Brown's. Salad bar was good. That's about it.
But the rest,
just don't go there for their steak or anything.
No, it's not very good. But we went to see Avengers, which was awesome.
It was awesome.
And I was, at that point, I was already into it. I don't know if you were as much, but I was already into it because of the Captain America movies. And I'm just a huge comic book superhero nerd, so I don't know. Did you see the Thor movies by that point?
Yeah,
you did.
I had to watch. Yeah. I had to watch all the movies before the Avengers because I didn't watch any of them, and I forget why. I guess maybe I knew we were gonna go. I don't know.
I think your brother told you.
Yeah, I think. Yeah,
watch them before you go
because you really do need to watch.
Absolutely,
unless you read the comics. But if you're like me and didn't read the comics, you have to watch all the movies, or else you're not gonna know what's going on. Especially Thor, you have to watch. Hot Thor.
We'll get into that another time. Melissa's ridiculousness, attractiveness to Chris Hemsworth and Thor. I don't know if it's Chris Hemsworth or Thor or both.
Both.
Okay. So then we started kind of casually dating, but for a while it was I was trying to kind of get Melissa to go on a date with me for a while, and I had some fails. The one I specifically remember is we were at a friend's house, a party they were having because their parents were out post-Christmas, but they still had their Christmas decorations up.
Yeah, which was really weird because I think like this party was in February.
It was like January or February, yeah.
It was really weird.
They happened to live next to a graveyard.
Right.
And we were having a good time that night. I mean, we were downstairs making fun of their parents' vinyl records. Because, again, now we were already casually pretty good friends, and me and Dan had moved to kind of like best friend area. BFFs. Secret lovers, possibly. No. Yeah. We were pretty, we knew each other pretty well, but we were making fun of stuff down in their basement. And
yeah, we were making fun of their records.
Yeah.
They had
some winners
really
from the 80s and stuff,
things down there.
And I think we even danced the Beatles music a little bit, which
we did.
We'll get into how the Beatles are my favorite band of all time. Mm-hmm. So it was a good night. One of our friends goes, "Oh, we're all gonna take a walk in the graveyard." It wasn't too cold out or anything. And me and Melissa are sitting at this big long table they have. And in my head, I'm like, okay, I'll say, hey, you want to go along for the walk? Split off maybe separately, and I can get to talk to her a little bit more, get to know her a little bit more, all that. So I go, okay, hey, Melissa, you want to join with that walk? And she answers with, no. I don't have the right shoes on.
Yes, I wore heels to this party because I was like, oh, we're at I want to look all cute. So I wore heels. And I was like, you can't go walking around a graveyard in heels. So I said, no, I'm not really wearing the right shoes for that. And of course, Kevin takes it as, oh, so this girl doesn't like me. When it's for real, I'm wearing heels. I'm not going to walk around in, a graveyard in heels.
All you guys listening, you understand where I'm coming from.
No, they don't.
Where it seemed to have a good time with the girl.
And we were. That's why I was so confused, because it's like, oh, we're having this great time. And just because I said, no, I don't want to go to graveyard in my heels.
But
doesn't mean I don't want to do anything with you.
To us poor sensitive men, it seemed like a lame excuse. Yeah, I've gotten some lame excuses over my time. And
it wasn't.
I thought it was up there. It turns out it was legitimate.
It was a legitimate reason.
But to me, at the time,
it was in heels in the graveyard.
I was expecting
looking for fake ghosts.
I was expecting yes, Kevin. I will definitely take a walk with you. It sounds fun. And I get a straight out no because my shoes. I don't have the right shoes on.
Which is a completely legitimate reason.
I went from a complete high to
if you saw these heels,
ostrich level where I wanted to bury my head in the sand.
If you saw these heels, you would understand. My heels would have sunk into the ground.
Well,
this is before Kevin watched RuPaul's Drag Race. Now he understands.
Yes, now I'm a little more knowledgeable about heel shoes and the effort it takes to walk, especially in a graveyard. So I was in a conflicted place. I have not only my best friend, but my boss I'm working with. Thinking, man, I really like this girl, but if I date her and this goes wrong, how am I going to deal with not only my best friend, but my boss? Because, listen, any breakup, I mean, as much as if we started dating and a breakup happened and we went, oh, we're still going to remain friends, it never happens that way. You hate each other. It's awkward when the Danimal throws a party and, hey, Kevin, you want to come over? Is your sister going to be there? Yeah, maybe not. Or I do come over and it's just kind of awkward for everybody.
Right.
So in my head, I'm like, I really like this girl, but if I do that and that happens, work's going to be awkward. I have potential to lose a pretty good friend because he's going to side with his sister, obviously, and I knew that.
Duh.
When we work together, which we worked together pretty decently, how are we going to interact? It's going to be really weird. So I was in a tough situation. That led to probably one of the maddest times Melissa's ever gotten with me.
Yes. So
you could tell that story to our listeners.
I looked super hot. I was like, well, we're going to go on this date. What did we go see? Ted.
Yeah, Ted. That crappy movie, yep.
And I looked hot.
She did look good. It's true.
And I'm like, yeah, okay. He's totally going to be into me now. So, like, we go to the movie. Then we come back to my place. And I'm thinking, okay, yeah, he's going to make some sort of move because I'm looking really good tonight and whatever. So he comes into the apartment. And I had a Metallica magazine. And he picks up my Metallica magazine and starts reading it.
It was
And I
a cool magazine, Metallica. I mean, come on.
It's like, what the hell? And I think they were meeting up. He was meeting up with my brother and a few other people anyway, like a little after the movie.
Yes.
And then one of them comes knocking on the door, and then I like yelled at them for knocking on the door because I'm like, go away.
I'm pretty sure it was Danimal.
No, it wasn't. I think it was
Was it Italian Stallion Nico?
Nah, it was somebody else we don't talk to anymore.
Okay.
But I was like, and he's like, oh, I didn't realize. And I'm like, yeah, well, it's done now. So then after that, I was just like, you know what, I'm done because this has been too long, and I'm just tired of waiting around. So I'm going to do the match thing. So I went on Match.com, and I was talking to this guy. It wasn't really that fantastic, but whatever. I was talking to him. We went and saw Batman. First of all, he's texting somebody else.
That's not cool.
Yeah, I'm like, what is this? He's texting somebody else. He falls asleep during the movie. And I was like, all right, I'm done with this guy because he fell asleep through Batman. And he's texting some other chick. So I get back to my brother's, and we're just like hanging out. Kevin's there. And I just casually mentioned that I went on this date with this guy, and he fell asleep during Batman. And it got Kevin all riled up. He was like, what do you mean you went on a date? I was like, oh, I went on a date. And it's like, then like after I figured he's all jealous, I was like, okay, now I got him. I got him.
I got extremely
like, that's
jealous.
That's all I had to do.
I did. I got extremely jealous.
I didn't even have to do the match thing. I could have just said, oh, I went on a date with some random dude, and that would have worked.
Yep. I got extremely jealous. Almost like we were dating.
Yeah.
Like officially dating.
Yeah,
and you like went with some other guy. Like
it was so funny.
It was crazy. But I did like this girl. Literally that exact night we were leaving, and I'm like, hey, Melissa, can I talk to you? What do you think, want to hang out again sometime soon?
Yeah.
And
I was a player there for a second.
Well, you was, and it worked, I guess.
Yeah.
Snagged me in. And then from there, it was, that's all she wrote.
Yep.
From there, and then we just officially kind of started dating pretty much right after that.
Yep.
We married, and now we're here. I got my two lovely ladies, you and Baby Cat.
Baby Cat.
Yep.
The baby princess.
The other star of our show.
Our little spoiled girl.
She'll chime in later. Don't worry, listeners will hear of her.
Yep.
She's the biggest star of the show, actually.
Yes.
Now you all know how we met.
Yep.
A little bit of bumps in the road between each other that kind of got us here, but I guess any good relationship does that.
Yes.
And we didn't have a boring story, that's for sure.
No, definitely not.
We'll probably get into the heart of the podcast now.
Yes.
For the first episode here. So I guess we'll start off with a big situation that happened this week, us being two sports fans, so me being the New York person, you being the Philadelphia person.
Which the Eagles are doing fantastic.
They are.
Super Bowl.
We'll talk about
2018.
We'll talk about that a little bit. Typical Eagles fans getting a little ahead of themselves.
Eagles. Eagles.
What's the saying? Counting your
there is
chickens
no
before the eggs, or eggs before the
about,
chickens, or
they're already talking about how Wentz is the next Tom Brady.
Nobody said that except your sportscasters in your head.
Nope, the sportcasters on Fox said it. My favorite guys. They started comparing him to Tom Brady. Yep. Next dynasty is Philadelphia, folks.
He looks good. I have to give my father credit coming out of the draft. He said that he thought Carson Wentz was going to be very good.
So did I.
My dad was, at one point, briefly, for a while ago, was a college scout. So he's pretty good at assessing talent.
I feel like I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't know if I told you. He did it for Duke football.
What? I didn't
Long time ago.
Finding things out.
Yeah. So he's pretty good at assessing talent. Yeah, he gets it wrong every once in a while. Some people he thought were going to be really good were terrible. But he's generally pretty good. And he had strong feelings for Carson Wentz, even though he came from a small school. Division AA, which means he didn't play all the really big colleges like Ohio State's or Alabama's or anything like that. But he still had strong feelings for him. Looks like he's right. I mean, it's only 2 years in, but he looks like if he continues like this, he's on the path to
he's going to be Tom Brady.
Being the greatest Eagles quarterback in history.
He's going to be Tom Brady.
And we don't know about that because Tom Brady is the greatest of all time. Fact, nobody can dispute that. I don't want to hear texts or calls or emails or anything from anybody. It's a fact. Tom Brady's the best. So is
the coach.
Yes. Bill Belichick is also the best. So let's talk about Eli Manning this week.
Oh, goofy.
Now, it'll be funny to get... It's going to be interesting to get your perspective being an Eagles fan. But Cowboy Matt, our buddy, who's also a Seahawks fan and absolutely despises the Giants, which I still don't understand because they literally